Hello, it's Phillip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London. And today I'm looking at an interesting book which I think will be relevant to all people who are pupils and thinking of about having a career in the law as a barrister at law. It's this book here. It's by Tim Kevan. It's called Law and Disorder, Confessions of a Pupil Barrister, and it's called the BabyBarista Files. It comes from Bloomsbury. That's the book. It's just a paperback. There's no index, of course, at the back or anything like that. It runs to 260 odd pages. It's basically narrative all the way through, and you've got quite a lot of comments. Tim's very well known to a lot of people because of his work in personal injury and publications, legal publications. But this is a book he wrote some time ago, and he sent it to me, and I thought it would be well worth having a good look at. So I've read it, and I've come up with some comments. There is a dedication, which I'd like you to see there, which you can just have a look at, and then you can see the book itself. All characters and events in this publication, other than those clearly in the public domain, are fictitious. Any resemblance to real persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental. Nice little get out clause. There we go, a few quotes from T.S. Eliot and Charles Lamb, and then you can see the structure. And it's quite important because it runs through, it is, as I say, a few years old now, but it runs through very nicely the various stages that you have in pupillage. So what do I say about the book? Well, I say this: pupillage days rediscovered. For many of us, pupillage is probably something we prefer to forget. Mine was certainly rather different from what takes place today. The Bar Council, of course, will be relieved to hear that, and of course the Bar Standards Board. But if you're contemplating pupillage, then this book from Tim Kevan is for you. It's much more up to date than previous books like Brothers-in-Law and a few other ones that we've had. But this book, it's rather whimsical in my view, but it's an interesting approach to the drudgery of the training programme, which of course is much more complex. It was quite difficult when I did it, but much more complex now. Quote, "It is BabyBarista's first day as a pupil barrister," says the author. "He has just 1 year to win." No, he, not she. "He has just 1 year to win by foul means or fair the sought-after prize of a tenancy in chambers. Competition is fierce. There's TopFirst, who has a prize-winning CV and an ego to match. BusyBody, a human whirlwind on a husband hunt," interesting, "and while wide-eyed Worrier, buckling under the weight of the world." Now, he's put those people in as composites. Lovely word, that, composite. Number of characters merged together. But we've seen them, I'm sure, in our own day-to-day pupillage, and of course in our day-to-day activities at the bar. And so the mixture of characters are introduced, and we, as I say, all recognise them. Kevin continues that with this backdrop, and I'm not going to give any spoilers, armed with a copy of Sun Tzu's The Art of War, BabyBarista launches a no-holds-barred fight to the death of double dealing, dirty tricks, and a healthy dose of backstabbing. All the memories come flooding back. It wasn't that bad, but there's a certain amount of it, and you've got to remember chambers politics, which of course is one of the reasons why I thought this book was quite interesting. And as the publishers comment, this book is part Rumpole, part Flashman. Well, that's a little bit of advertising puff, in my opinion. However, it's quite good because it's a popular book, and it does actually set the scene as it was in around about 2010, which is actually nearly a decade ago now. The story unfolds as BabyBarista opens a window onto the Machiavellian, frequently absurd ways of working life. And you too can follow BabyBarista's adventures on the BabyBarista blog, which is a bit out of date now, of course, but it was quite popular at the time. No secret barrister in those days, I hasten to add. And of course, if you've got the time, do have a look at it, but I doubt very much whether you will. Certainly not for today, because of the amount of work you have to do in pupillage, and therefore it's probably for post-pupillage when you're waiting for the briefs to come in. Again, it's a different system from the way it was for a very long time when I was certainly going through the system, where you did have a lot of spare time. So thank you, Tim, for what I thought was an excellent read. during the quieter hours of practice. In other words, hanging around a court waiting for your case to come on. The book was published on the 2nd of August 2010, so it's a little bit out of date now. He sent it to me a little while ago, and I thought when I had time I would read it, but there it is again, and there's the spine, and then there's some stuff on the back. But a good little book. Jeremy Vine actually makes a comment which I thought was quite good. A wonderful racing read, well drawn, smartly plotted, and laugh out loud. LOL, David Cameron, you see? So there's a lot of amusement in there, and I'd like to thank Tim very much for producing it. I think it makes life a bit easier for us, because one of the difficulties with pupillage is you don't really know what is going to happen until you actually do it, and then the full horror sinks in. Anyway, thank you very much. I found it very entertaining, and it gave me some pause for thought, if I can put it that way. Thank you very much anyway. Bye-bye.